Welcome, guys. It's another episode of Not Another FPL podcast. We're back. It's ahead of game week 32. No fanning around. How'd you get on, James?
So yeah, I got 47 points with a -4. So I brought in a bit of a mixed bag really with the transfers. Brought in Neto for Traore. Well, we all know what happened there. So he got me a lovely 1 point. Salah captain. I brought him in for Son. So again, that was okay, evened out. But obviously the captain was on Salah. But the best move I done was bring in Iheanacho for can't say his name, for DCL. So overall, mate, up on the transfers, but not a good game week because we all know, a couple of players who I don't own absolutely took off. And we'll talk about them in a bit. How was your game week?
Yeah, nothing to write home about. Average was 41 and I managed 40 points. I think the only good thing was Trent getting 11 points, and also because not many people own him. So that saved me, especially because Jota, who should have had the assist for it, but FPL conveniently didn't award him the assist. Salah obviously got his goal. Most people are Salah owners, but my Jota and my Trent sort of equaled it out, or thereabouts. Captain Kane, thought I'd go with that, and poor decision. The only saving grace from that being, if I didn't captain Kane, I probably would have captained KDB. He didn't come on. Bruno blanked. Would I have captained Trent? Probably not. So do you know what I mean? I feel like I was lost anywhere I went there.
Yeah. That's why I pulled the trigger on Salah, because I just looked at the captaincy and I thought Salah, I'll take the 7. It's just a shame with Salah. He doesn't get bonus, does he? It's just, that goes from, 14 to, if he gets the free bonus, to 20 if he's just one of them players.
Obviously, if he gets the goal and assist or a brace, he tends to get the bonus. But when it's just
if it's Bruno a goal, it's 10, isn't it?
Well, it's also a winning penalty, isn't it? And that has extra weighting. So, but actually saying that, Bruno's a really interesting one now, because I think he's blanked in 4 of the last 5 or 6. And if you hopped off of him about a month ago, you could have done really nicely. Would you possibly pull the trigger on hopping off him now?
Nah, no chance. Not for that game at home to Burnley. I think there's too many good players blanking this week. Sorry, not this week. Next week, obviously with the Spurs, Man City. So you're going to need Big Bruno to be in your team. So anyway, mate, what's your thoughts on the moves for this week? I think there's some tidy fixtures for some certain teams. But I'll let you kick on with what's your thoughts for.
Yeah, 1 free transfer this week. In my plans was probably looking at another Spurs asset. Do I go a defender? Do I go an attacker? Annoyingly, I want Salah for that game against Leeds. I mean, that can be any scoreline, especially what happened at the beginning of the season. There was multiple goals, and I don't own Salah, and everyone else around me does, and it's hurting me in the mini league especially. But could I wait a week to then hop on a Spurs player to get in that double game week? That is something I'm thinking about. But also on my mind is taking a hit. Iheanacho does have some lovely fixtures ahead of him, and he doesn't look like slowing down.
Home to West Brom.
DCL not playing, it just seems like I need to take DCL out for Iheanacho. So maybe a hit.
Yeah. So you're looking at, a Spurs asset and Iheanacho, like you're saying, no Lingard, and the fact that Spurs blank next week, you're going to have to take Son out, do the hokey-cokey.
I mean, like I say, I think that I want to get Salah in the team. I said last week on the pod that I don't think Liverpool will go through in the Champions League. They obviously play tonight, and if they are confirmed out, that will make me decide that Salah will be in my team. The only difference is do I put Salah in for this game week, or do I go with the assurance of a double game week for a Spurs asset? So I guess my question to you would be, James, is does, say, Son or Lucas Moura outscore Salah in game week 32?
You'd say I 100% say Son would, um, because he's got that goal now. Typically, when I took him out, he hadn't scored in 13 league games. He's had a couple of assists, I think, against Palace or Burnley. Take him out. I know it's quite bizarre logic for me. I was taking a player out who, does all right against United. He battered him last time. I know they're down to 10. Um, but I, like I said, it was the captaincy now for me. What made me take out Son? I think he will go on and punish me. I think he will, but it was the mindset of now having in my mind, I'm going to captain Salah 6 times till I go in, and then triple captain Kane this week, and then Kane again in 35. So, but no, back to that question. I do think, yeah, I think Son is probably worth. I think he's got that goal now. I think he could be real danger. He is my one player I really want. Um, it's just a shame the only player I can see myself taking out is Bruno for him, which again I don't want to be doing.
But is it not then worth the 1 week punt of taking Bruno out to get Son in for the double and then just reversing it again? I mean, especially because United are going to play tomorrow in the Europa League, and we would expect Bruno to play 90 minutes there. I'm not saying he won't then play the majority of the match on the weekend, and it
Yeah,
is a nice fixture. But I think we were speaking earlier in the season about that risk of jumping on and off premium assets, even if it's for 1 week punt.
yeah,
That could pay dividends.
yeah. It's two games as well, isn't it? With obviously Son.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a strange one because I've got Neto. Obviously, he's now completely gone. Um, so I've got a player there who I need to get out. I'm a little bit short on Lingard. I think he went up to 6.5 the other night, and I've got 6.1. Um, it's just basically Son. It is real short term. It would be obviously Son out for Bruno, then back in for Bruno. Sorry, but I don't know if I'm just gonna literally just go triple captain Kane and just see where it gets me and just hope for the best, because we all know what Spurs are like. They didn't even look good, I thought, against Man United. They were, I think, 3-1 actually flattened Spurs. I thought they were very lucky. The fact they didn't get that goal with Cavani, for me, that was a perfectly good goal. Don't know how Son's gone and got away with that theatrical sort of dive, but hand in the face. But no, I mean, the only thing what is tempting is that the home to Southampton game, and they are probably one of the worst teams at the moment, Southampton. That home game for Spurs, we saw them beating, what was it, 6-1 when Son scored 4 against them. If I was I was a Son owner. If I was looking at having Kane and Son, I think you're laughing this week. But yeah, I'm talking
If you
myself
own
into
Kane
getting
and
Son,
Son,
aren't I?
then who would you put the triple captain on? Because a lot of managers are going to probably be facing that decision if they have their triple captains.
Yeah, no, I still see. For me, I think that's an easy decision. I'd go Kane. Um, but it depends where you are in the mini league. It depends if you're like third or fourth in like your mini league, for example, and the people above you just have Kane, and they might also triple captain Kane, like I think you were discussing earlier. If you were then to captain Son, and then it does pay off, you're talking big dividends. So yeah, it's all just obviously a guessing game,
I think
but
they're very appealing because I think Everton are struggling, and they're especially struggling at home. So Friday night, if Spurs go out and win, and say Son scores or Kane scores, then they go into that Southampton with a goal under their belt. And as you quite rightly alluded to, Southampton, I think they're about 18th or 19th at the moment for like chances conceded.
yeah.
They're a really funny team. I think they're poor. On their day, they're good.
Mm.
But you would expect Spurs to really push on after that United game. It's just typical Mourinho, isn't it? They play a bad game and then he'll come out and hopefully do well. Would you look at anyone else in that Spurs side? I mean, I'm also a Digne owner, and at 6.1
Yeah, I
million,
am as
he's
well.
very frustrating.
I am as well. I mean, he got the clean sheet against Brighton, no bonus, so he's clearly giving the ball away when he's obviously going up. He's not making any complete crosses. Um, Again, yeah, I fancy goals in that Everton Spurs game. So I wouldn't be touching the Spurs defender either. You'd be lucky, I think, to get one clean sheet in both them games. But yeah, I am a Digne owner as well, and I am not looking forward to playing him. I don't think I will. I might even play Dallas at home to Liverpool instead of him after what he done last week, um, which is saying something. So I think that's just obviously because I've lost out on the points. But yeah, no, I think again I wouldn't do a transfer to Digne this week because I think they've got. I don't know what their fixtures are like, but no, I think the big thing is, like we said, Spurs. How many do you want? Well, they don't play next week, so they. Oh no, they do away at Arsenal. It's obviously, yeah, how many Spurs assets do you want? If you ain't got Jesse Lingard, are you going to bite the bullet and get him? Ichinacho now looks absolute fire at the moment. I mean, West Brom at home, Palace at home, Southampton away, then Newcastle for your next 4. I mean, fill your boots.
I've got to agree. If you're a DCL owner, it's going to be very difficult not going Iheanacho with those fixtures. Is there anyone else you could possibly think of? I know Matey Boy up front for Wolves had a really good header that was disallowed, didn't he? Old Jose. So he's up there. So it can only be a matter of time before he goes on a run of goals if you wanted to get really ahead of the curve.
No one from Wolves anymore. I'm absolutely just, my head's gone with them. Arsenal, however.
That man there,
Lacazette, or the other guy in midfield, Saka. I do think he is, again, he's very hot and cold. You've said he's very annoying to own. I've not owned him this year. But is he my Neto replacement for that home game? I don't mind all 4 of them. They're saying that on their Everton at home looks like a difficult fixture, but I don't think it is. I think Saka can definitely do damage against them. But again, it'll mean no Jesse, no Jota. You can't have them all, but I don't know what to do with Gundogan also. I mean, the Man City assets, what are you thinking about doing with them? Because
that's it. I ditched 2 Man City assets last week, which was actually, I'll tell you what, that was probably the highlight of my game week, which is really sad to say. Getting rid of Cancelo and Gundo, who I think got 2 or 3 points between them.
Probably 1, 2, yeah.
And I'm only left with KDB now. So it was actually nice to get rid of those boys. I said I was going to do it. It's the same old story of Man City. We could sit here and talk about it every single week. But I would probably be in the boat of jumping off, but only if that means you can get someone with a good run of games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to just jump off for the sake of it.
See, now that's the thing. I could go, can I go Gundo to Jesse Lingard?
That would be very interesting.
No, I can't. What a joke that is. So I've got 6-3 left. How long? He's 6'5", isn't he, Lingard? Potentially with a move to Real Madrid, by the way. I've seen some mad reports.
Oh, don't give me that nonsense. But I'll tell you something as well, though. I said it last week because I said if I had Mason Mount, I probably would have captained him. He obviously got a few points, could have had a few more. But I think the really important observation is Kai Havertz is playing up front, and Werner looks to be demoted to the bench, and looks like he's not even coming on his first, second, or third sub at the moment. Yeah. So if I had the money in the bank and you're really sort of jigging your team around, I would be seriously eyeing up Kai Havertz until the end of the season.
But then will he be a bench? Will he go on the bench when obviously now Chelsea are through in the semi-final? They're going to have 2 legs potentially against Real Madrid or Liverpool. He could, come game week, is it 34, 35 when they play in the semis? He could be benched. But I think he's great value at the moment.
I see what you're saying there. I think it would be poor management if he was in form and he were to be on the bench, because Chelsea have got an outside chance of winning the Champions League, and that is an outside chance. So for Tuchel to say, I'm not going to put my informed players playing in the league where I feel top 4 is a lot more closer in touch and achievable than Chelsea winning the Champions League.
But if you were to have...
Be serious.
God, I'll tell you what, though. You say an outside chance. You've got Man City Real Madrid or Liverpool in the Champions League, you'd surely wouldn't say you wouldn't be too pessimistic about that, would you?
It's an outside chance. I think it's got a lot
So you
of
think
hype about it
you'd be
because
second favourites going into you would be second favourites going into the semis against either of them two, wouldn't you?
in a one game shootout, I think PSG would beat us. I think Man City beat us. In a one game shootout, I think Real Madrid beat us. Over two
Yeah,
legs, it might be a different story. Um,
yeah,
the thing with Chelsea, and again watching them last night was a very fine example, right? We've gone 2-0 up into a game where if we score one goal, it's game over. There's no pressure.
mm,
Um, Now, looking at that game, Porto pressed really well. They have a lot of high energy about them.
yeah,
But Chelsea never looked in trouble. But what I'm
yeah,
getting at is they couldn't also close the game off. They had three or
mm,
four really good chances where the teams like PSG, your Man Cities, they score those opportunities. And
yeah.
if you can't convert those opportunities and put the game to bed,
That's your problem,
you're
yeah.
really going to struggle. And I think that's going to be where Chelsea will slip up.
Yeah, that could be fair enough. I can understand why you're saying that. So, what about your Leeds assets then? How many have you got? You got Rafinha and Dallas. They've obviously got Liverpool at home. You're a
I'm a
Trent owner.
Rafinha and Bamford owner.
Did I say Rafinha and Bamford?
You said Dallas, but I can understand why
Sorry,
Dallas is on your mind.
sorry.
Um,
Why he's giving me nightmares, mate. That's why.
but look, I think I look at that and I go, look, Leeds have got Liverpool, Man United, and Tottenham in the next 4 games. Um,
Not great, is it? But
if I didn't have other fires to put out in my team, I think one of
mm,
Rafinha or Bamford would be shipped out, and it would probably be Bamford because it would be a really lovely switch over to Iheanacho at the price point.
yeah, of course.
Rafinha's a little bit more tricky because he's about 5.4 million. I got him slightly
Yeah,
cheaper than that. So if I didn't have to get rid of DCL this week, it would have been Bamford that would have gone to Iheanacho.
yeah. I do think if I'm to be fair, I'm glad I'm not a DCL owner anymore. I mean, he could easily score against Spurs, but they got Spurs and Arsenal next game, 2 games, and then yeah, I think my time with DCL this season is well and truly over. It's got to that stage now. I was looking quite comfortable with the 2 transfers we were saying a couple of pods ago, and just sort of like getting your players in. Now I've got fires I need to put out with Neto. Rafinha's even got a yellow flag. I'm not too sure what that's about. I mean, he come off I think on 90th minute, but we'll see obviously this week. But yeah, obviously the game week is obviously starting on Friday, so it's not too long before you know you have to make the decision. But yeah, it's really tricky at the minute. There's players I want who I can't get to, in the likes of Lingard and Jota. There's players I've got in the likes of Gundogan and Rafinha.
Just
Who
to pick up as well on the injury front, old Creswell's been confirmed out now, hasn't he?
I don't know if he was confirmed. I've just seen now he's a
Yeah,
yellow flag on the actual website.
I think it's at least 3 weeks. So if you're a Creswell
Ooh.
owner, and he's been a very popular and a very good pick this season,
Yeah,
and
he'll be
also
heavily
I call
owned.
him a premium defender because he is.
Yeah,
Where
he
would
is
you
definitely.
look to spread? Where would you go to if you was a Creswell owner? Is Trent back? Could you get to Trent?
I think you'd probably have to say yes. Not in the sense that he's back to what he was last year, but he scored 2 and 2. And just Liverpool's run of games. I mean, it's quite staggering how they've only got 1 game in 34 away at United, but I don't know if you want to get actually the last 7 up, if you can do that on this, but I just can't. Well, look at again.
Well,
Look at the top bang.
that's
I
why I
mean,
think Salah will be very
that's
important
yeah.
in my
He's
team.
my captain. Like I said, he can't be my captain this week because I've got the triple captain on Kane. But then after that, it's going to be Salah, Kane, Salah, 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 Salah.
Yeah, like
I
I
don't
say,
know,
especially if they go out of the Champions League,
unless anything
it's
else. Yeah, exactly.
a
And
no-brainer, isn't it?
he's just an absolute greedy man when it comes to this time of year. I think he'll be going down
Golden
like
Boot also
goal.
chasing.
That's what I mean. The golden boot. He wants it off Kane. Both of them want it. Kane obviously wants that move. He's going to get it wherever he's going to get wherever he wants. And I think that's why, yeah, I'm going to just go with them two now to the end of the year because that's what it comes down to now. Like the league's all set. Liverpool are out, both with outside chance of top four. They'll still be fighting until the last day of the season. So to me, it's more about the captaincy. For me, is now nailed, and I don't have to worry about it. It's them. It's them other players, and that's why I keep on, we keep on referring to. Like Lingard is looking. I think if you were to put a price on him now, he's done a Gundogan, really, hasn't he? From January to March, he's done it from, let's say, March to mid-April. So, I mean, you couldn't put a price on this bloke at the minute, and I may have to take a hit just to get him in. I don't know what I do. Do I go Son in to free up the money for Bruno and then get Jesse? Bruno's next two
It
games are
depends how
good
you want
though.
to play it. I think if I was in someone in your position,
I'd
little
love Bruno
Bruno,
to get injured tonight. I don't like saying that. I'd love
I,
Bruno to get injured
look,
tonight.
United are going to go
Just a
through
little
in the Europa
hammy.
League. United are going through in the Europa League.
Like second, aren't they?
When Pogba's back, and he is obviously been back now for some game weeks, Bruno is not the same asset unless they get a penalty. And
Yeah.
if I was someone in your position where it does mean taking out someone like Bruno to get to one of those players that have got plum fixtures to the end of the season, I would seriously be tempted, even after Tottenham blank, go in the Kane Son double up because they're chasing top four. Right,
Yeah, games
looking
are
at
good,
that,
aren't
those
they?
West Ham games, that might be the money to get Lingard in.
Cool. I
If you're
was pretty
going up,
hasty actually,
do you know
saying
what
that.
I mean? I'm being a bit,
Yeah.
but do you know what I'm saying? I think I'm not. United aren't going to finish outside the top four, are they?
No, of course not.
Absolutely not. So they're. But does it matter to them if they finish third or second? No. And I think the worst they're going to finish is third. So they're going to go through in the Europa League. They've got other things going on. Pogba back. I hate to say it, but is FPL Gold leaving the team?
Is he down to bronze? But I actually just realised how good Spurs is games actually. Well, I was saying like I've gone, that is actually crazy. That Sheffield United game in 34. Who's Salah got in 34? Oh, that's fine. He's got Man United away, but even in 35, 36, 37, that's going to give, that could be the difference between mini leagues is Kane and the Salah, who's picking the captaincy right. Because if, one player does haul and one person doesn't, I think a lot of people will have massive. I thought it was clear cut Salah for the last 4 games, but it's actually not.
I think a lot of managers will be losing their triple captainship this week as well for a Spurs asset. I think after that, I think you've really got to look at it and say, right, am I going to now play it safe for the last 4 or 5 game weeks, or am I going to take a punt and switch between premium assets? Try, have a really strong finish and sprint to the end of the line, or I just sort of going to jog to the end. It depends how you see yourself as a manager, but for me, looking at those fixtures, and it's fun as well, isn't it? It's boring just being
16th and doing nothing. Yeah, no, I totally agree. The thing is, if I get a Son in this week for Bruno and then up Lingard, I mean, then what am I doing with the Son situation? I've got Son then, and and then I've got 2 Man City players, 2 Spurs not playing, and then I'm already in a bit of trouble then come to game week 33. But
Leicester have had a bit of a, they got beat to West Ham. They had a couple of players that obviously went over to a party, which obviously Rodgers has dropped him for. One might have been or might not have been Maddison. Come next game week and all that, you might want Maddison in your team for that run of games at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know what I'm saying? So
he's only got 4 good games. Their last 3 games are poor, I think, are Leicester's.
Yeah, so up until that point, that could be the difference between them finishing in the top 4 or not. And like you say, obviously Lingard for West Ham, they're right up there.
What's West Ham's fixtures like? Not that, I mean, he's actually looking fixture proof at the minute. Again,
every other game's brilliant, isn't it? Until the last 3.
It's not bad, is it? I mean,
you take that Newcastle, Burnley, Brighton, West Brom, and Southampton, trying to get yourself in the top 4.
Even at home to Chelsea, at home to Everton. I mean,
especially when they're 2 of your main rivals for the top 4. So that's that's going to be really interesting. I am a little concerned about what's going to happen to their balance, their team when now Cresswell is injured, because I do think that they're one of those teams that is quite finely tuned.
Wow.
I know they've got that one player who can play out on the left, and obviously Rice is injured, so
and Antonio.
So it's going to be pivotal to where they finish now with getting those players back fit, especially Declan Rice. Anyhow, no, I think I've said where I think my mind's at with my transfers.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
said
confused.
captain looks like it's already. We don't really need to speak about it, do we? It's going to be a Spurs asset for nearly everyone, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's just Kane v Son, really, and then that could be a big swing, really, because and then if you have Son, then if you have both, then happy days.
For the flirt of the week, then where are you putting your beans on? I think I called West Ham last week. I'll take that if I did.
That was very good, guy. Spurs, which obviously that didn't obviously go too well, but I think I think the flutter could be a sixfold this week. I'm not actually lying. I think you could easily have. Let's just skip Spurs. Let's just have goals in that game on Friday. But you could do West Ham, Wolves, Arsenal, United. I'm not even going to say actually goals, Leeds, and then Chelsea, Spurs, Man City, then Leicester to finish it off. But my one team I'm going to pick is going to be. I think I might pick your team from last. I don't know, Newcastle or strange. I'll do.
West Ham are appealing at even money, though. I must say that.
Are they even money?
Okay.
I might do. Well, I mean, look, I could just go Leicester to beat West Brom.
Have it, mate. Have it. Leicester.
Do the Thursday night Leicester to beat West Brom. West Brom are on a little bit of form.
2-1 on.
1.5. That's not too bad.
But the thing is, right. So you said about the big acca, the sixfolds. I've always got that sort of fallacy that when teams play midweek, they don't always get the result on the weekends. So having said that, it could be Leeds that cause a hiccup for Liverpool. Very, very hard to predict, but I actually think Spurs will beat Everton, and they're above even money.
That's quite a big price.
Everton have been poor at home.
I think I will. Will you be? I'm going to play all three of my Leeds assets this week on Monday night.
I think that's a bit of FOMO, to be honest.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that game has got goals all over it. And
you can have Salah captain. Madness. No, you're not actually. You can have Kane in you.
That was last week. But anyway, mate, nice one. So yeah, I think we'll call that a day. I'm just as confused as ever as my with my transfers. Dommy, you're sat there looking at maybe doing a little Son move, which I think will pay off. I think that goal is going to do him absolute the world of good. And it is now obviously, Wednesday, 14th of April. And good luck, everyone, on game week 32. Good luck if you're using your triple captain. And enjoy the football tonight. And we hope to hear from you soon. Yeah. It's a good night from me.
Good night, guys. Good luck.